But it's just a nightmare, really, to be honest with you. I just think personally he's well and truly spat his toys out of the pram. He knew exactly what he was coming in for. He came first season, don't get me wrong, he had a great season in a very poor team, to be honest with you. But he knew that this is what I was at United years ago. I just think there's a few, obviously, problems with it, to be honest with you. The fact that he's used Piers Morgan for an interview, obviously I know they're friends, but from an Arsenal fan perspective, he's rubbing his hands with this as well as he could have just come out and just gone on a camera recorded by himself saying, look, this is my situation. Obviously, he had a post a couple of weeks back saying he's going to tell the truth. I didn't expect him to do it this way.
Mike, do you think United should rip up his contract now?
Absolutely. There's no way back. We have to back the manager. Obviously, in the turnstiles, we're all getting behind Ten Hag. It's not completely perfect with him, but obviously it's getting there. You can see the vision. You can see it. You can see the things. I think a few more transfer windows. He's got a bit of an aura about him where he's going to take no nonsense. Where a few of the managers we had in the past was a bit lenient towards it.
Is there any way you can defend Ronaldo?
That's what I was about to move on to now. I think in a way about obviously the training complex and stuff. Obviously, I haven't seen it firsthand, but obviously if that's correct, then yeah, that's the thing where the board do need to kick up the bum for. They need to obviously invest and compete with the rest of the Premier League. If you're saying about the same jacuzzi, etc., etc. But what obviously another thing is that the whole interview hasn't come out yet. Obviously, Piers Morgan again is rubbing his hands together and giving us little snippets of negative, and I just think personally he shouldn't really be doing that. I know he's obviously a businessman, he's trying to get obviously views and stuff like that. I just think, yeah.
I don't think he's rubbing his hands. It's what he does. It's a profession he's in.
Arsenal fan, though, isn't he? They're top of the league. And he wants
okay. Mike, listen, thanks for your thoughts on that. Graeme, one or two coming in on this theme. Graeme Souness is absolutely correct in his assessment of the Ronaldo situation. It's refreshing to hear a player tell it how it is and speak so frankly. Ronaldo has been treated horrendously. And that's basically what you're saying. That he was promised things he didn't get. I don't know if John, a United fan, wants to agree with that or disagree with it. John, good morning.
Good morning, guys. You're all right.
Good, thanks. What's your take on it, John?
So, for me, I respect to a degree what he has to say, but there has to be a way. His opinion would carry more merit if he conducted himself in a professional manner off the pitch on a regular basis. Now, quite recently, we obviously dominated the game against Spurs, and straight away, the headline was Ronaldo walked off the pitch and stormed off. Now, having these interviews, people would be a bit more open to respecting if he, previously his behaviour was a professional conductor. He was essentially acting like a professional footballer as a superstar, the superstar treatment he gets. He gets a large wage every week. He gets the young players look up him as some form of, football god.
Of course.
And he essentially has had this prolific career. So he has to understand it has to come to an end, and he can only be played as and when he proves himself. But he hasn't been doing that recently. Ten Hag's had to modify the team to it, but then to come around and go, oh, well, I don't respect him. I mean, what arrogance is that? That's essentially saying you don't respect your boss, the guy who's keeping you employed in your job. On a day-to-day basis, that would be...
You'd be out in your ear. John, listen, thanks for that. Simon, is there merit in what John's saying there?
No, not really. It's a completely different scenario. Of course, the dynamics of an employee relationship in another business are completely different. These guys are on fixed-term contracts. We've allowed players to get to a position in life where some of them actually believe they can pick sporting directors to run football clubs in this situation that we've been led to believe that happens with Mbappe. I actually think this is an irrelevance. I don't know how much of an interview we've got here. We've got 2 minutes. We've got 90 minutes to come. I'll judge the whole thing in 90 minutes' time, see how brave he's been. If he wants to call people out, if you want to do these interviews, then let's do them properly. If you've got executives in Man United that didn't want you from the get-go, let's see who they were and what they were all about. And quite frankly, I always felt this was a marriage made in hell. If I was Man United, I'd get rid of him. End of discussion, gone. Thanks very much. Next.
Anyway, you dress up, it's mismanagement. Do you think, if you go back to the start of the season when he says he wants to leave, so you're the manager, you go in and talk to him, and you come to an agreement. But if you don't stick to the letter of that agreement, you've got a major problem going forward. Because there's no way Ronaldo is going to go quietly under any circumstances. I mentioned egos, which he is more than entitled to have an ego that would choke a horse. So he's more than
entitled to have that ego.
There was never a happy ending here. And Ronaldo would always be leaving on his terms. And he's engineering a situation where that will be the case. He has chosen to come out, and I'm not condoning coming out this time halfway through just over a third of the way through a season.
Yeah,
I mean, it's damaging Man United. We should be talking about Man United digging out another result at Fulham, and how they're on the up and up.
But how's it damaging Man United? They're winning games. All it is great fodder for the media, and he's done it at a time when there's no right to recourse. He's off to the World Cup. He's done precisely what he wanted to do, which was keep it out.
It's damaging because we've just spent. It's now 10:15.
But is it stopping their team from winning? Is it stopping their team from winning?
It won't do them any good, because what you fail to understand, because you've never been part of one, is a dressing room and how a dressing room works. He will have 3 or 4 people that will back him no matter what he does or what he says. Now, so that 3 or 4 people in that dressing room will have another 2 or 3 mates. So by that rule, you're going to have half a dressing room that might have a great deal of sympathy for Ronaldo. That's how it doesn't help Man United going forward. Yeah,
I've seen that this season. I've seen the fact that they've had a lot of sympathy for him. In fact, the team's been far better than when he's not been there.
That doesn't mean to say it doesn't have allies in the dressing room.
Doesn't mean to say it does either, does it?
We're going to head to the 11 o'clock bulletin. Big Red Devil, which I would assume is a big United fan. Ronaldo's behaviour in any profession is unacceptable here, would be grounds for dismissal. End of story. And there's Martin in Newmarket. Good morning, Martin. Stick him in the reserves. Honestly, let him rip up his own contract so we don't have to pay him. He should never have done this. Kiss and tell interview is tantamount to treason. Bye-bye, Ronnie. Had the most respect in the world for you, but it's gone now.
How fickle is our business, eh?
Absolutely. 11 o'clock.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.